openable from the inside. Well, as I've said, that now is not a condition. This was going to cost you a fortune, guys. All these changes were going to cost you a fortune. But lawyers and representation by legal bodies have made them see common sense. Waste disposal, you have got to be sure, make sure that they get rid of the waste. Sufficient bins for waste, make tenants aware of collection dates, bins put out no earlier than 4 p.m. day before, bins returned by April. You've got to notify them all this. I've got to start notifying them of all this, or you've got to do it yourself.
How can you police that?
Well, you can't, no, well, obviously I accept that, but what happens is people complain, next door complains. Oh, they'll police it themselves. Your neighbours, their neighbours will police it, because they ring me. You go, oh, you've got him, this, that, and the other. Oh, right. Oh, he's left his bike out again. You are? All right then. Oh, yeah, we'll have a look. Inventory. Now, it's a licensing condition now that you've got to have an inventory. A lot of landlords go, I don't want an inventory. I go, are you mad? Are you mad? Because you can't do anything. If you give me £600 as a deposit, the tenant gives me £600 as a deposit, I can't get any of that. That has to go to the DPS. As you know, we can't keep that now. So that goes to the DPS. DPS don't want to give it you. So the DPS will, if I say, oh, well, the rooms were beige when he walked in, but now she's painted the whole house purple, they'll go prove it. Yeah, but I got a bill for £1,200 for redecorating that. Well, prove it then. Well, I can't, didn't do anything. Oh, well, no, sorry, not correct. The tenant's telling me it was like that when he moved in. And that's it, end of. No deposit.
But what until you get back now is from the retribution from the...
No, you don't always get it back. When me and Marilyn and I, we as I say, we've got quite a few properties, and we get them where we just had one now leave, haven't we? And he's been in there a few years, and I've got a bill. I think it's about £1,200 after everything is done. I've got £460 back, and he argued the bond.
Well, I was saying though, even if you claim a reasonable amount back for the thing is that I have criminal damage done to the property that I received that after because I asked for a deposit, some of the deposit to pay for that.
Yeah. So it's a game. It's hard getting the money back out of them, but you've got to have the proof. That's the message, and they're not prepared to entertain it because the law is on the tenant's side. So you've got to be able to prove and cover your backside, and this all happens at the beginning of the flight, guys. This is when it's all important. What you do now can affect a tenancy. It could be in 3 years, 10 years. You've got to know you did it right, you've got to go back all that space to prove you did it right in the first time. Penalties, level 5. Now these are actual penalties given out to landlords. Mr. Zlushk, or whatever his name is, fined £99,000. He had 22 offences when they went in to see his property. He had 22 separate things. He didn't deal with anything. He ended up with a fine of £99,000 with £6 cost. There is now an unlimited fine for you not dealing with this stuff. Mr. Who fined £200,000. He had exposed wires, hob was a problem, rotten balcony. He had various things he didn't comply with. He was fined £200,000. These people are serious.
Just on that, Pete, the record housing fine as a result of selective licensing is £235,000, and it's a landlord from this part of the country for properties in Gainsborough.
But did they actually collect the fee? I mean, it's all good and well seeing that they've been fined, but was the fee actually collected?
That landlord's now bankrupt, so what they've done is it's been liquidated. So his properties have been compulsory purchased, or they're going through that process at the moment. So it does depend if the landlord's got his properties in a limited company structure, for example, then obviously it is different.
Yeah.
So pretty much covered that one. So it does depend on the structure, but what they actually did with that particular landlord is they essentially froze his assets, and it is still an ongoing case. So the court awarded and made the decision, and it was before the civil penalties action came in. But it is the largest recorded housing offence.
You've basically got to be an idiot not to replace the hob, haven't you? Not to deal with these. You've basically got to be an idiot. I can never understand this. You know, it probably would have had a bill for about £2,000 or £3,000, but he just refuses. These people just refuse to put their hand in the pocket. I don't get it. Paul Williams fined £20,000 plus cost, 25 offences, faulty fire alarm, blocked fire escape, fire doors in disrepair. This is some of the stuff we've seen. And this is nothing. Anybody who works for Castlegate, this is tame to some of the things you can see. This is stuff, and this is what they're trying to eradicate. And this is some of this can happen with tenants who, if you don't keep on top of the tenant, this is the type of thing that happens. That type of thing. Oh, sorry, Marilyn, that's our house. I forgot to take that out. It was like we had a bit of an argument there. Right, just now, what I want to look at, I'm just going to very briefly run this because I'm going to wind this bit up now, is that I want you to know, as a landlord, what we have to do to look after your property and what's involved in looking after your property, what we have to know to look after your property. I think, I swear to God, some people don't really understand what, as a letting agent, we do. Oh, you only reference them, don't you? You haven't done anything. You only issued a contract. No. We have to know about the Landlord and Tenant Act, Consumer Protection Act, Electrical Equipment Safety Act, Buildings Regulations, Gas Safety Regulations, issues legal compliant tenancy agreement. That's not an easy thing. Issue out to rent booklets. If you don't issue an out to rent booklet at the beginning, who's not issued an out to rent booklet at the beginning of the tenancy, you won't be able to evict because the magistrate wants to see it, wants to see proof that you did that. Issue prescribed information for deposits. Who issues that? Prescribed information is about a 14-page document. When did you last issue one of them? I may have to do it. Because the prescribed information tells the tenant where it is, but they've got to have it before they start the tenancy. You start giving them that after, you're breaking the rules. You're in trouble. Understanding tenancy deposit rules are massive. Understand the Deregulation Act 2015, which really put the mockers on the section, given the section 21. There's rules out there, guys, that you've got to jump through hoops to evict a tenant now. Housing Act, issuing a section 21 correctly, you don't issue it right, get to court, you've wasted, you give them 2 months notice, takes you another 6 or 8 weeks to get them into court, by this time you're getting no rent, and then the magistrate goes no, so you've got to go away and give them another section 21 notice for another 2 months, and it can be a year before you can get anywhere from it, if you don't do it right first time, and that's what you pay me to do. Gas safety rules, Immigration Act, you've got to know all about that, EPC, smoke alarms, members of IC, International Commission's Office, say it for me. ICO. Information Commission's Office. If you're a landlord on your own now, you've got to join that scheme. You've got to, because GDPR, the new GDPR rules apply to you as a landlord. So if you're only a landlord, then rules apply. You've got to become a member, because if you pass a tenant's name and telephone number to a contractor as a landlord, you are breaking the new GDPR rules, and you can be submitted, you can get a fine. And because people know it's widespread and people start to learn and understand these things, and tenants start to understand it, you can be in a lot of trouble. Don't do it. So I have now a contract between myself and all my contractors. I have a contract to say to them, you remember GDPR, aren't you? Whether they are or not. Because a lot of these one-man bands, gas safety guys and all these odd job blokes, right? They haven't took it seriously. Now, Facebook didn't take it seriously, and look what happened to them. However, the point is that I've got a contract between me and that contractor to say, mate, are you abiding by the rules of GDPR? And he has to sign his contract, so yes, Pete. So you will compensate me then. If you give that name and address out to somebody else and they misuse that data, because that person will now, if you notice, all your emails aren't as clogged up as they once were, are they? Which is good news. But that's another serious matter as a landlord you're going to have to deal with, because you've got to follow the rules. Regular inspections we do, staying on top of repairs, trip hazards, health and safety. Debbie has to know all about this going in to check your property and look out for all these things and protect you, the landlord. Carbon monoxide rules and regular, antisocial behaviour rules, emergency lighting, rules on rubbish, fire safety, locks and windows, responding to the tenant in a timescale. We've now only got 14 days. You have to, within 14 days, acknowledge the repair and tell him what you're going to do about it within 14 days. You can't fanny anymore. Landlords used to go, okay, can we have an answer on that? I'm on holiday next year, I'll deal with it when I came back off holiday. No, it's got to be dealt with. Redress schemes, complying with selective licence requests, being faced with banning orders now. This is a reality, guys. Civil fines and imprisonment in very serious circumstances. If you go wrong, you could be faced with never being able to issue a Section 21. Now, meaning you are stuck with a tenant until they decide to leave. The council are going to be inspecting at least half the properties that fall under selective licensing. That's what they've been telling us. So some of you are going to be checking. Managed landlords, right. So what's happening is, for anybody who's a managed landlord with us, we will do all the applications for you. Castlegate will do that, and we're going to have to bring you in one. Basically, we're going to have to gather all the information, because we're going to need certain information from you, but we've got a lot of your information on file. We've got to gather all that information. Not 100% of it is known yet, because the council haven't finished the application process. We're still waiting to see, as we stand here today. It's ridiculous. But for the managed landlords, we'll do it for you. Guys, I've demonstrated, you want to do it on your own, that's absolutely fine, but you know, it's going to take you ages. I'll take all that pain, we'll get it all ready, and then at the final, we'll make an appointment, you come into the office, and we'll apply for you. And for that, we'll add to your tenancy a one-off fee of £99 plus that. For every other property that you've got more than one, we'll just charge £40 to do that. Let-only landlords, if you want to carry on being a let-only landlord, that's fine after all this. Property applications, if you want help and assistance with that, we'll do it for 125. Each additional property will be 60 quid. Now, the point with all this is that let-only, if you're narrow enough and want Castlegate to take over the management of your property, if so, sign up today and we won't charge you a set-up fee, and will be a 10% monthly management fee that will apply. Please take advantage of our managed licensing application costs. Now, I think the good news is, if there is any good news out of all this, is that we've got 288, Castlegate have got 288 properties caught up within the scheme itself. 288 by one agent. So that means that the council, if you have over 125 properties, I've now got to apply to the council this month for a special dispensation, which they've agreed to give me, that we will then be allowed, everybody's got to apply by the 1st of July, and the application's got to be in by the 1st of August. Finished. Rule, that's it. They've given us a special dispensation to Castlegate and allowed us to get this all done by the end of October. Sigh of relief. So I can start making applications from the 1st of July, but I've actual fact got the end of October to apply. And I've got to give them a list of all the properties that want to join me within that scheme. Now, I've got to get that list off very quickly, because it's in fact, 1st of July is rapidly approaching. But that means that really any landlords who tell me now, like, Pete, I want you to do it, get on with it, what we will do is send you an information, a one sheet information telling you what we need from you, i.e. your address in the last 5 years, copy of passport, stuff like that, stuff we haven't got. Now what will happen then is that I've then got to space these out between 1st of July and the end of October. So anybody that I can get applying from, say, September won't have to pay the first fee, which is £460 until that point. And then I think you pay the balance when they're ready to issue the licence. So it's 460 quid. Now what we can do there is, if you give us permission, I can hold the rent back so you don't feel it. It won't hurt you as much. So you ain't going to put your hand back, I can just hold the rent back, and then when the time comes, we'll pay that for you. So we'll do all that, and the fee, our fee to look after it for you as well. So after today, what I'd like you to all do is very quickly make your minds up what you want to do, because the girls here at the front, I want you to see them and give them your name and your address, and then just say yes or no, I'm going to deal with it myself, or I want your Castlegate to deal with it, and then I will be communicating with you from here on in to let you know what you need to do, when you need to do it, and you can forget about it, and I'll look after it for you. So following that, so as I say, if any of you want to do that, let us know, let the girls know at the front, they'll be ready to take your details. Now, what I want to do now is open it up to questions, because I'm sure you've got some, and I want Carl to be involved in this. So I'm sure you've got some questions you need to ask. So if we've got the microphone, guys.